Alright, let's dive right into it. The second Trump takes office, the fate of the special military operation is sealed, and suddenly everyone is on its knees in front of Russia. Sanctions swept aside, and the dollar turned out to be a dud. The illusion of victory is slowly slipping from the eyes of ordinary Russians who thought that Trump's return meant a golden era for Russia. I'm Maria Drutska, and let's spill some truths on these latest political developments in this ever spinning world. Well, I wanted to kick off with something else, but then, bam, this morning, a massive drone attack targeted Moscow. Airports stopped operations. Vnukovo and Domodedovo went into emergency mode called carpet. Moscow's mayor claimed they shot down 32 drones. All good, as usual, they say. But then Bryansk wasn't so calm either. Explosions, air defense allegedly downing drones, and a fire broke out after the blast. Well, first rumors has it a military site was hit, the Russian logistical support center, but then Ukrainian general staff later confirmed strikes on Russian military depots and fires in military area. It's small stuff, sure, but that's almost that little we can do with our own weapons, and wouldn't be something if Biden, before he steps down, gave us the green light to hit Russian military targets with long-range Western missiles. Imagine the impact on their depots, factories making those drones, and much more. Speaking of support, Pentagon's approval will now allow American defense contractors to serve Ukrainian military equipment in Ukraine. According to Reuters, contractors won't be in combat, of course, but will conduct maintenance well away from the front lines, ensuring US supplied equipment is repaired quickly when needed. Now, tell me in the comments, do you think Biden will actually go for that decision or not? All right, back into where I started. So, with Trump's election, the operation's fate is practically set. The West is turning their back, and Russia and before standing on the knees before Russia, forgotten sanctions. The hype around Trump's return is less about his victory and more about what he will do with his power. Russian business elites are not celebrating like the Russian propaganda machine is. They know sanctions will keep squeezing Russia's economy, frozen war or not. Remember, Trump wasn't exactly soft on Russia last time with sanctions on Russian aluminium company Rusal, Nord Stream 2, and even Russia's debt. He also pulled the US out of the Intermediate Range Nuclear Forces Treaty, accusing Russia of violations. Well, meanwhile, Ursula von der Leyen has already suggested to Trump to replace Russian LNG with cheaper American gas to cut dependence on Russia. Europe is still buying huge amount of Russian LNG, and according to her, American gas would help lower energy prices. And of course, they will look to balance this with the EU's trade surplus with the US. According to Acer, Russian LNG imports in the EU have climbed to 20% in the first half of 2024, while American LNG makes up about 45%. Well, Russian gas was only 15% in the EU imports last year. In October, Brussels announced plans to tighten restrictions on Russian gas purchases even further. With Trump back in the picture, there is a good chance he will agree. He is already planning to ramp up sanctions on Iran, especially targeting Iranian oil. Now, Trump and oil prices. Well, that's a hot topic everyone is talking about. In theory, his energy policies should drive global oil prices down, and he's all about loosening regulation in the US and encouraging increased production. But here is the catch. American oil producers are already working around the clock and they are nervous about prices falling too low, which could make production unprofitable. And now, here is the juicy part. One of Trump's potential plans for Ukraine involves deploying British troops along the front line. According to the Telegraph, Trump might propose a buffer zone at 800 miles, 1,200 kilometers barrier, separating the Russian and Ukrainian armies to freeze the war. This plan would essentially hold the front line, and in return, Ukraine would be asked to shelve its NATO ambitions for the next 20 years. The US offers weapons to keep Russia at bay, but they are not interested in patrolling or funding this zone. Trump's team say, "We will train and support, but the boots on the ground should be European. Let the Poles, Germans, Brits, and French do it." Meanwhile, Poland's Prime Minister Donald Tusk announced that a US declaration on a ceasefire date and security guarantees for Ukraine might be on the horizon. Tusk stressed that any decisions on Ukraine should consider the perspective of Ukrainians, of course, but Europeans as well, not just American interests. Well, during a call with Trump, President Zelensky made it clear any concessions to Russia would be disastrous for Europe. A suicidal move, in his words. Oh, and Elon Musk was present on this call, chiming in with his thoughts on supporting the Ukrainian army through Starlink access. Strange, right? Well, first, why the hell Musk even was there? And second, let's not forget how back in 2022 Musk secretly ordered Starlink to be shut off near Crimea to sabotage Ukraine's planned drone attack on the Russian Navy in Sevastopol. Starlink terminals also turned out to be a double-edged sword. Well, they helped Russian troops advance, particularly in Vuhledar. The Washington Post reported that while Starlink was initially a game changer for Ukrainian forces, now it's also being used by the occupiers. The black market for Starlink terminals has become a critical factor in Russia's recent gains, enabling them to coordinate attacks, launch more drone sorties, and strike Ukrainian positions with precision artillery. So, what do you think of this Korean scenario, guys? Is this really all Ukraine has left to hope for, or are there any other paths forward? Drop your thoughts in comments. Alright, folks, let's dive into some thrilling news from the Russian swamps. In recent years, Russia's birth rate has been steadily declining, and legislators are now considering all sorts of bizarre ideas to tackle the demographic crisis. The latest, a proposal to establish a Ministry of Sex aimed at raising awareness about the low birth rate and taking steps to make Russians want to have kids. This initiative comes from the PR agency GlovPR, and they have already sent their proposal to the State Duma, Russian parliament. According to a representative from GlovPR, this is a necessary move to boost birth rates. They have addressed their appeal to Nina Ostanina, the head of the Duma's Committee on Family, Fatherhood and Motherhood. In the document, GlovPR lays out several solutions they think could give birth rates a positive push. Among their ideas, handing out government funds for first dates. Yes, they suggest giving citizens 5,000 rubles, 51 USD, each to help them go out to cafes, restaurants, or events with a new partner. Sure, they say it's not much, but for young Russians, it might be cover a decent first date. And get this, GlovPR also proposes giving newlyweds 26,300 rubles. It is $268 for a wedding night. This generous handout is meant to help couples rent a nice hotel room and properly celebrate the start of marriage life. Apparently, they think that this financial support from the state will give young families that warm feeling of being backed by the government. But wait, there is more. They also want to cut off internet access and electricity across all of Russia from 10 p.m. to 2 a.m. daily. Why? People worldwide apparently prefer intimate time in the dark. The agency believes this could have a positive impact on Russia's demographics. Sure, it might save some energy too, but what about those still working during these hours? Details. Oh, and they want to count a woman's domestic work as part of her employment record and even pay her for it. Well, at least they've got one thing right. This step is supposed to recognize women's role in the family budget and give them additional rights. Thank you. After all, being a housewife, it's not easy how it looks. It's almost like I read Orwell straight away. So tell me in the comments, guys, who do you think should take on the title of Russia's Minister of Sex? And that's not all. The State Duma is also floating the idea of a birth rate lottery. In yet another totally not strange approach, Deputy Speaker Chernyshov proposed a monthly draw where newborns have a chance to win one of 10 apartments. Because, everyone loves a bit of excitement. And what better motivation for starting a family than a lottery? He claims it's a motivating factor for families who want to have kids and will help Russia's demographic situation. Because, they've got a few tiny problems. Hundreds of thousands of Russians have perished in attempts to invade another country. Let me know in the comments, guys, would this lottery approach make you want to have kids? That's it for today. I want to thank all of you for supporting Ukraine, watching Ukrainian content. Please like this video, and if you really like it and you want more videos, you can support the channel's development on Patreon or buy me a coffee. See you soon, and Slava Ukraini!